I found out why the most hated girl in school was really being destroyed. Renee Wilkins returned to our elite academy after 2 months at a psychiatric facility and walked straight into social execution. There's the girl who faked a sewer slide attempt for attention, Amy announced to the entire cafeteria, making sure everyone heard the word faked. Within 24 hours, Renee went from student body president to untouchable. Her Harvard recommendation letters vanished from the counselor's office. Her AP teachers suddenly couldn't remember her name. Parents pulled their kids from her study groups like mental illness was contagious. I tried sitting with her at lunch once, but my best friend yanked me away. Don't be stupid. She's toxic, probably planning her next performance. I watched Renee for weeks after that, and what I saw didn't match the narrative everyone was selling. The girl they called an attention-seeking manipulator spent her free periods tutoring kids in the library, ghostwriting college essays for students whose parents didn't speak English, quietly paying for SAT prep when families couldn't afford it. She did it all anonymously, while the same kids she helped called her psycho in the hallways. Meanwhile, Amy led a calculated campaign of destruction. Renee's student government position was revoked for health concerns. Her parking spot was given to Amy's cousin. Her locker plastered with suicide hotline numbers by the Mental Health Awareness Committee Amy specifically created. The school newspaper ran an op-ed about performative mental illness, with thinly veiled references to Renee. But through it all, Renee never snapped, never retaliated, just kept her head down and helped people who hated her. Everything exploded during the senior class trip to the lake retreat. Trish, this quiet scholarship girl, started choking at dinner, her face going from red to purple in seconds. Anaphylactic shock from hidden peanuts in the pasta. She was clutching her throat, eyes bulging, while everyone screamed uselessly. The chaperones were doing shots at the staff cabin. The nurse had left early. Trish was dying right in front of us. That's when Renee moved like she'd been shot from a cannon, shoving through the panicking crowd. Where's your EpiPen? Where is it? She dumped Trish's bag, frantically searching. When Trish couldn't speak, Renee didn't waste time. She found it and slammed it into Trish's thigh, counting out loud. But Trish had already stopped breathing, completely limp. Renee tilted her head back, cleared her airway, and started mouth to mouth, counting compressions between breaths. The rest of us just stood there watching the campus pariah literally breathing life back into someone. After the longest minute of my life, Trish gasped and her chest started moving. Renee had saved her life, but by morning, Amy had already poisoned the narrative. Isn't it convenient that Renee knew exactly what to do? Almost like she planned it, she told the returning chaperones, just like her fake sewer slide. Classic attention-seeking behavior. The principal banned Renee from the rest of the trip while parents demanded an investigation into whether she'd orchestrated the allergic reaction to play hero. The school nurse grilled her about how a teenager knew emergency medical procedures. The girl who just saved a life was sent home in disgrace while Amy convinced Trish to file a formal complaint. That's when things went nuclear. Someone got into the school's confidential database and leaked Renee's entire psychiatric file on the anonymous confession page. Therapy transcripts, medication lists, detailed notes about her attempt, everything. The comments were brutal. Should have finished the job, natural selection at work, attention were exposed. Within hours, Harvard rescinded her early admission citing character concerns raised by her community. Yale and Princeton followed. Her car tires were slashed in the student lot. Someone spray painted "Die Better" along her car. I found Renee one morning on the science building roof, sitting with her legs dangling over the edge, 4 stories above concrete. When she saw me, she didn't move back. You're the only one who ever looked past the story they wrote about me. Her voice was empty, like she'd already made a decision. Want to hear something funny? She laughed, but it sounded like breaking glass. I never wanted attention. I wanted to disappear completely. That's what the attempt was about, but they turned even that into a performance. She pulled out her phone, showing me screenshots I couldn't process at first. Text messages from Amy's mother, dated 2 weeks before Renee's suicide attempt. If you tell anyone what you saw, I'll destroy you and your father's career. You're just a stupid child who doesn't understand adult relationships. The truth hit me like a sledgehammer. Renee had walked in on her father having sex with Amy's mother in her own house. Amy knew the whole time. Every single act of cruelty was calculated to discredit Renee before she could expose an affair that would trigger divorces worth millions. Amy's been protecting her inheritance by destroying me, Renee said, standing up, moving closer to the edge, making sure no one would believe me if I ever told the truth. But maybe it's time everyone knew. She looked down at the drop. Or maybe I should just give them what they've been pushing me toward anyway. No one believes anything I do is real, so why not make it real this time? Some truths don't fit in one video. The rest is waiting for you below.